Bhakti Viksha programs for Mayapur and other centers of ISKCON. Maharaj was awarded initiation by His Holiness Sukadeva Goswami Maharaj on 3rd September 2022 at Sridham, Mayapur. Apart from preaching services, Maharaj is also serving as a regional secretary for ISKCON India for Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Meghalaya, and Arunachal Pradesh. Maharaj is also serving as chairman of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Mahavidyalaya. It's the promotion and development of Navadip Mandal and Gaur Mandal Bhumi. So we welcome Maharaj by one time chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for coming to ISKCON Attapur.
Hare Krishna. Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhav Jaya Radha Madhav Radha Madhav Jaya Radha Madhav जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक आचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद अभय शरण अरविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की ISKCON ब्यूटी फाउंडर आचार्य डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक आचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की श्री श्री राधा माधव की श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की श्री श्री गौर निताय की समवेत गौर भक्तबिंद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्-भागवतम की श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories all glories all glories to Guru and Gauranga all glories to Srila Prabhupada Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति पदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्नाय कृष्णप्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरतिष्ठे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधाकांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी Verse number 27, right? Yes, they have put 24. So reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, first canto, chapter number 12. Chapter is entitled Birth of Emperor Pariksit, text number 27. तक्षकादात्मनो मृत्युं द्विजपुत्रोपसर्जिता प्रपत्स्यातो उपसृत्य मुक्तसंगपदं हरे तक्षकादात्मनो मृत्युं द्विजपुत्रोपसर्जिता प्रपत्सतो उपसृत्य मुक्तसंगपदं हरे तक्षकादात्मनो मृत्युं द्विजपुत्रोपसर्जिता प्रपत्सतो उपसृत्य मुक्तसंगपदं हरे Mataji's? Okay. Mataji's? Takshakat by the snake bird, Atmanaha of his personal self, Mrityum death, Dijaputra the son of a Brahmana, Upasarjita being sent by, Prapassate having taken shelter of, Upasrutya after hearing, Mukta Sangaha freed from all attachment, Padam position, Harehe of the Lord. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. After hearing about his death, which will be caused by the bite of a snake bird sent by son of a Brahmana, he will get himself freed from all material attachment and surrender unto the personality of Godhead, taking shelter of Him. Purport. Material attachment and taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord go ill together. Material attachment means ignorance of transcendental happiness under the shelter of Lord. Devotional service to the Lord while existing in the material world is a way to practice one's transcendental relation with the Lord. And when it is matured, one gets completely free from all mutual attachment and becomes competent to go back home, back to Godhead. Maharaja Pariksit, being specially attached to the Lord from the beginning of his body in the womb of his mother, was continuously under the shelter of the Lord. And the so-called warning of his death within 7 days from the death of the curse by the Brahmana's son was a boon to him to enable him to prepare himself to go back home, back to Godhead. Since he was always protected by the Lord, he could have avoided the effect of such a curse by the grace of the Lord, but he did not take such undue advantage for nothing. Rather, he made the best use of a bad bargain. For 7 days continuously he heard Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam from the right source, and thus he got shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord by that opportunity. Mukam karati vachalam panghulanghayate giring yat kripatamaham bande Shri Gurung dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Isharam. Hare Krishna. Very happy to be here. First time in this temple. I heard about this wonderful temple. So, we are discussing from the first canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Here, the talk is going on about Pariksit Maharaj. So, Pariksit Maharaj is very, very important personality. Those who want to take shelter of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So Pariksit Maharaj was cursed by Brahmana boy to be killed by the bite of a snake bird named Takshaka. So this is very interesting, and Srila Prabhupada is writing, when Pariksit Maharaj got this curse, he thought it was a favor from the Lord. How many of us can think like that? That's why Pariksit Maharaj is very, very special personality. For a pure devotee, whether they are alive or whether they are dead, doesn't make any difference. Why? For a devotee, whether he is living in this body or whether he is leaving this body, both are same. Srila Prabhupada came to Mayapur Dham and he was drinking water, and after a long time he came to Mayapur. He said, living in Mayapur and dying in Mayapur is Vaikuntha. Why? So when you live in Mayapur, you are living in Vaikuntha planet, spiritual world. And when you leave this body, you go to the spiritual world. So there is no difference. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, for a pure devotee, there is no material world. Material world is for conditioned souls. A liberated soul, there is no difference. Why? Because wherever they are at a liberated platform. So that is the state we have to achieve. And how it is possible? It is possible by being fully Krishna conscious. When you are fully Krishna conscious, then we are liberated. Rupa Goswami says, what is the meaning of fully Krishna conscious? Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. That is the symptom of a pure devotee. Somebody asks, Prabhupada, who is a pure devotee? A pure devotee means who never forgets Krishna. That is the symptom of a pure devotee. This is a primary and essential symptom of Krishna consciousness. So how to identify? People, they ask, how to know I am advancing or not advancing? So advancement, how to measure? It can be measured by our remembrance of Krishna. We have to check every day how many hours we are remembering Krishna. That is the measurement. It's not a rocket science that you have to go in deep analysis whether we are Krishna conscious or not. If we are remembering Krishna, we are Krishna conscious. If we are not remembering Krishna, we are not Krishna conscious. But we have to remember Krishna in a favorable way. That is only condition. Because demons are also Krishna conscious. In the 7th canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Narad Muni says, demons are more Krishna conscious than devotees. The intensity of Krishna consciousness of the demons is much more than the intensity of Krishna consciousness of devotees. Why? Demons are in anxiety. Kangsha, as soon as he heard that the 8th son of Devaki would be the cause of his death, he immediately became Krishna conscious. Whether he was sleeping, whether he was awake, whether he was eating, whether he was doing something, all the time he was Krishna conscious. Where he used to climb on the stairs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Krishna. So, see the level of Krishna consciousness. But he is a devotee? No. Why? Because he was remembering Krishna in a unfavorable way, adverse way, negative way, inimical way. But for a devotee, we have to remember Krishna in a favorable way. Anna vilasita shunyam jnana karamadi anavritam anukullena Krishna anusilanam bhaktiruttama. Rupa Goswami explains, what is pure devotional service? Remembering Krishna, serving Krishna in a favorable way. And also, we should not have any material desire. Without any material desire. Only desire is to please Krishna. Any desire other than to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as material desire. So if you have any other desire, then we are not in pure devotional service. We may be Krishna conscious, but we will not be devotee, pure devotee. Pure devotee means who remembers Krishna in a favorable way. So Prabhupada begins the purport of this verse that material attachment, he is telling, material attachment and taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord go ill together. So material attachment is the obstacle to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why you have to be detached. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada used to tell a story. Early days in the village life, that marriage ceremony used to take place, and the person from the bridegroom side, they used to go from one village to the other village where he has to marry. And they used to take a boat, night boat. Just like we take night bus, night train, they used to take night boat. So one of the marriage parties, what they did, they took a boat. Boat was wonderful boat. Boatman was also expert. So they boarded in the boat and they are sleeping, and the boatman was driving the boat. After a wonderful sleep in the morning, they woke up in the morning and they thought they have reached the destination. But with great surprise they saw the boat did not move an inch. Although boat was perfectly all right, boatman was also expert, no problem in the boat. But they were checking why the boat did not move an inch. Then they identified the anchor of the boat was not lifted. There is anchor of the boat. So that was not lifted. So that anchor represents material attachment. So we are doing so many things. We are doing so many aspects of devotional service, chanting, hearing, remembering, doing puja, hearing Bhagavatam, going to the holy places, distributing books. We are doing so many things. But there can be a possibility that boat of our devotional service will not move an inch. Why? The material attachment, the anchor, is not lifted yet. So, material attachment is very, very strong in our heart. Since time immemorial, we are cultivating this attachment. And we have attained perfection in that. When you practice something, then you get perfection. So we have been practicing for how long? Since time immemorial. How to enjoy material world. So we attain perfection. Natural, spontaneous attraction. Not for the Lord. For material attachment has been established in our heart. You don't have to hear a seminar, how to be attracted to the sense object. You need a seminar? Prabhupada said, man and woman are naturally, automatically are attracted for each other. They don't need any seminar, knowledge, classes, automatically, because perfection has been achieved. But to have attraction for Krishna, we have to hear. Seminar after seminar, training after training, still things are not happening. Attraction is going there only. Right? That's why we have to practice vigorously. So attachment for money, Kanako Kamini Pratishta Bhagini, Chariyache je Seito Vaishnava. Srila Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada writes in a wonderful way. Who is a Vaishnava? Who has given up the attachment for three things. Only three. Everything is three. Three modes of material nature. That's why you have to give up three things. Kanaka means what? Money, material wealth, gold. Kamini means opposite sex. And Pratishta means desire for respect, profit, adoration, distinction. I need to be respected. That desire. So these are the three primary attachments which should be given up in order to advance in Krishna consciousness and in order to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. First is money. Right? Kali Yuga is very attractive. In other Yuga, who does not have money, he is most respected. Brahmanas. But in Kali Yuga is opposite. Who has money, he is respected. In our school days, we used to learn principles. Important principle. What is the principle? If money is lost, nothing is lost. If health is lost, something is lost. But if character is lost, everything is lost. You learned also? I don't know. Nowadays, this is not relevant. So this principle has been changed nowadays. It has become reversed. Nowadays, what is the principle? If character is lost, nothing is lost. If health is lost, something is lost. But if money is lost, everything is lost. Money talks. Bhagavatam also says, you can get everything in Kali Yuga if you have money. Money is the essence of life. Money is the success of life. Right? That's why you are very attached. So how to be free from attachment of money? You see that in Varnashram Dharma, 3 ashram out of 4 are expected not to have any money. Brahmacharis, Vanaprastha and Sannyasis. I'm not talking about Kali Yuga, but I'm talking about, in principle, that brahmacharis, vanaprasthas and sannyasis, they are not expected to have any money, possessions. Only grihasthas are allowed to have money. And it is a duty of the grihastha to maintain all three other ashramas. That's why they are allowed to earn money. So it's a responsibility. Human life is a life of responsibility, not right. If you go behind right, that will lead to fight. Right? Why there are varieties of fights nowadays? Because everybody is talking about their rights. But Vedic culture teaches us to be responsible. Responsibility, duty, not the right. So earning money is a responsibility. How? We have to earn responsibly and we have to spend also responsibly. And Prabhupada writes in the purport, I think in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, that all the money belongs to the Vaishnavas. Prabhupada writes. But how to relate to that? Very difficult to relate. We cannot relate. That's why you have to practice. What is the process of becoming detached from money? Give charity. Charity is the dharma. Austerity is the dharma of the brahmachari, and charity is the dharma of grihasthas. If we give charity, then slowly we develop detachment. And also, our money gets purified. Because Lord is supremely pure. So whatever is connected with the Supreme Lord gets purified. Everything in this world is impure. This is the world of impurity. But the Lord is extremely and supremely pure. So when something is connected with the Supreme Lord, that also becomes purified. Prabhupada gives the example of iron. If iron is put into the fire, the iron gets the quality of the fire also. There's the power of the fire. So Lord is also like that fire of spirituality. So when someone or something is connected with the Supreme Lord, that becomes spiritual, purified. Example, Putana. Putana came to kill Krishna. How? By feeding milk, breast milk, along with some poison. Just like we mix sugar or jaggery, so Putana wanted to have some different mix, poison. And she thought that if Krishna drinks that milk from her breast, what will happen? He will also drink the poison and he will die. That was the plan and strategy of Putana. But she did not know to whom she was dealing with. So Krishna was very merciful. Krishna was not merciful. Krishna is always very merciful. But he was very, very merciful towards Putana because she came as mother. So whatever was offered to him by Putana, she lovingly accepted that. So Krishna drank the milk. He also drank the poison. But one thing he sucked extra because he is very merciful. Putana did not know that. So Krishna sucked the life air of Putana. And Putana was dead. So Putana was dead, and after that Putana became the mother in the spiritual world. I think our acharyas are explaining only Putana in Krishna Leela entered into Golok Vrindavan. Generally, if the demons are killed, they enter into the effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But in Krishna's pastime, they enter into Vaikuntha planets. But Putana became the mother in Goloka Vrindavan. What a perfection she got. That's why people become amazed. Even the Sukadeva Goswami was amazed to hear this pastimes of Krishna. What a merciful Lord he is. And Putana's body was a huge body. It is explained it was 1 yojana, means 8 miles long. Can you imagine? And his body was cut into pieces to have the final rites. And when the Brajavasis was burning the body of Putana, it was emanating the fragrance, wonderful fragrance. How it is possible? Those who have the experience of burning the dead body, fragrance comes out. What comes out? Bad smell comes out. But from the body of Putana, fragrance was coming out. Why? Why? Because Putana was touched by Krishna. That is the power. That's why in the same way, money, if it is connected with the Supreme Lord through service, then money becomes purified. And the person who is giving the charity, he also becomes detached. So 50% of the earnings should be given. That is the conclusion from the Shastra. But Kali Yuga people, by hearing that, 50%, they develop disease in the heart attack. 50%, they will be completely detached. He will leave the body only. So that's why Prabhupada said, okay, 25%, minimum 10%, but something has to be given. I was explaining yesterday, who will get the benefit of charity? When that charity pinches the heart. Itna chala gaya. How much? So much I have given. Then you will get the benefit of charity. If it does not pinch your heart, you will not get the benefit of charity. But charity as a principle helps the person to become detached from money. Then we have attraction for opposite sex, and that is the principle, basic principle of this material existence. We are in this world because of that only. Very, very difficult to give it up. The lust is there in our body, in the senses, in our mind, in our intelligence, in the ether, everywhere there is lust, and lust. Very difficult. So one of the Prabhupada disciples asked Prabhupada, when I can be free from lusty desires? Prabhupada was very grave and said, never. So he was discouraged. He said, I joined the movement to become free from the lusty desire, but the founder Acharya is telling, never. He was not so happy with the answer. After some time, again he asked the question to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was very grave and said, Govinda Ichha. When Lord will desire, then we can be free from lusty desire. Prabhupada said, lust cannot touch me. Maya cannot touch me. Then one day he was praying to the Supreme Lord, intensely praying to the Supreme Lord. So one devotee approached Prabhupada, why are you praying to the Lord so intensely? So Prabhupada said, I was praying so that I don't become victimized by Maya. Devotee who heard that Maya cannot touch Prabhupada, that statement also he heard. And he is hearing now that Prabhupada is praying to the Lord so that he should not become victimized by Maya. He developed a doubt. Prabhupada is telling Maya cannot touch him, now he is telling he is praying to the Lord. How is it possible? Contradictory statements. So he approached Prabhupada. He was in a little bit fear also. But somehow he made the point to Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, where is the contradiction? There is no contradiction. Because I pray to the Lord constantly with intensity, that's why Maya cannot touch me. So by this, Prabhupada is giving us a point, very deep point, that if we want to be free from the attack of Maya, we have to constantly pray and take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Daiviyesha gunamoyi mama maya durattaya mama vijay prapandante maya metang tarantite. So it is very, very difficult, almost impossible to cross over the insurmountable Maya. But we can easily cross over if we take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the process. So in the same way, if we want to be free from this attraction, spontaneous attraction, strong attraction and attachment, only by praying at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and intensely practicing the process of sadhana bhakti. So in that way, we can be slowly, gradually, can be free from this desire of enjoying. Then third is pratishtha. Jara pratishtha. Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur says, Jara pratishtha sukarera vishtha. Very interesting point. Vishtha means stool. Sukar means hog or pig, boar. So why Sukarer Vista? It can be Vista of anyone. Acharyas are explaining that also. Why Sukarer Vista? Because other animals, they eat food and pass stool. But the hog or pig is a special animal that eats stool and passes stool. What kind of stool it will be? That's why Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur Prabhupada said, Sukarero Vistha. Very smelly, disgusting. If that kind of smell is there, nobody will come near to that place, right? But if that desire of self-respect is there in our heart, that is compared to that stool. So Krishna will come near to us. Krishna will stay far away from us. That's why if we want Krishna's presence in our life, then we have to give up this desire of expecting respect. Mahaprabhu has taught us, amanina manadena. Getting respect is not a problem. Expecting respect is the problem. Naturally, devotees will get respect. But expecting respect is the problem. But another problem is that when we get respect, then we expect. When we get things regularly, expectations. For example, you can check in your life also. Every day you come to the temple, one devotee will offer you garland. And it happens every day. Then what will happen to your mind? As soon as you enter to the temple, you will not think of the Lord. When garland will come? Right or wrong? This is the mind. Interesting. You have to really analyze how mind works. And we become attached to that. Whole focus of life changes. Now we have joined to become attracted to the lotus feet of Krishna. Then now by getting garland regularly, now we are getting attached. When I will get the garland? Right? So this is the power of expecting respect. So there was a sadhu. He became a sadhu. Gave up everything, Kanaka Kamini. And he started staying in a place outside of the village, on a hill. He built a small bhajan kutir and started doing bhajan. Very detached, sadhu. So villagers were very impressed. every year they used to come and offer some gifts to that sadhu because they felt so happy that he is so detached, he is a sadhu. This is the culture of the Grihasthas also to give charity. So he used to get regularly. Once in a year, the charity was given to that sadhu. It was happening for many years. One year, what happened? Somehow that day came, nobody was coming. But because it was happening every year he started expecting that this year also it will happen. But somehow nobody was coming. Then he checked the date. It's the same date. Time, Muhurta is also right. Still nobody is coming. What happened? What happened? He was in anxiety. Then he came out from Bhajan Kutir to check whether they are coming or not. So he saw nobody is coming. He said, maybe I am not able to see. I should go up. So he saw a tree. He climbed on the tree to see whether people are coming or not. He went up to the top branch, and the branch broke. He fell on the ground. Also, he broke his bone. That is the power of expectation of respect. So when we expect respect, that will happen. The bone will break. Means our devotion will be completely destroyed. We will be completely carried away. We will go in a different way. When there is a flyover, and if you take a wrong turn, then you don't know where you are going. Right? So when we get carried away by this respect, you will not understand where you are going. You will be completely carried away. You will be completely lost. That is the power. So therefore, we have to be very, very careful. We have to really train the mind. That's why Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada has written a whole, it's a poem he wrote, series of verses, by which we can understand the nature of the mind. That's why Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada used to say that our mind has to be beaten up, both in the morning and also evening, by shoes and by broom, minimum 100 times. So I was giving this lecture, one devotee said, how to do that? How mind can be beaten by the shoes? I said, it has to be done mentally, because you are dealing with the mind. He thought maybe we have to take a broom and take a shoe and start beating the mind. It's not like that. You have to do it mentally. And it works. You can check it out. If mind gives you trouble, take the broom and beat the mind. You'll see the result. You'll immediately become humble. Because beating has tremendous impact to make people humble, right? So mind also is like that. So as soon as he gets the beating, minds become humble, comes under control. So mind should not be given any importance. If you start giving importance to the mind, then mind will take over your life. And if mind takes over our life, then what will happen? We will be completely finished in our spiritual progress. So attachment is there in the mind. Very, very strong. And that's why our focus is on sense object. Dhyate vishayan pungsa sangaste chupajayate. Sangat sangjayate kamo, kamat krodvijayate. Krodhat bhavati sammoho, sammoha chiti vibrama. Chiti bhangshat buddhi nasat panasyati. When mind is contemplating on the sense object, what is the consequent result? Panasyati. Will be completely destroyed. What does that mean? That we will not get the human form of life anymore. We lose the opportunity of this human form of life. That is a result of contemplating on the sense objects. But if that same mind contemplates on Krishna, what will happen? Anta kale cha mame vasmaran mukta kalevaram ja prayati Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam jati nastatra asangsaya. If mind contemplates on Krishna, then what will happen? We will attain the supreme destination, the spiritual world. It's all mind game. Spiritual life is all about mind. That's why you have to change the mind. Krishna consciousness means thinking of Krishna. Who thinks? Mind thinks. It's nothing external. Change should take place within. Mind should change. The object of remembrance. When we start remembering Krishna, that is the perfection of our life. And when we start remembering Krishna, then gradually our material attachment will reduce and in due course will disappear. And that is the perfection of our life. So Pariksit Maharaj was completely detached. Completely detached. That's why when he got the curse, he did not think for a moment. Immediately he left the palace. He never thought who will take care of the kingdom, what will happen to my family, this, that, nothing. Immediate action. That proves that although he was the king, but he was not attached at all. And that's the way we should lead our life. Antare karanistha, baire loko vyavahar. Mahaprabhu told Raghunath Goswami, internally you should always remain Krishna conscious, but externally perform your duties. So attachment should be towards Krishna, not to the external situations. But nowadays mind is too much attached to the external situations. That's why mind is always disturbed. Mood ठीक नहीं है. Mood अच्छा नहीं है. Mood में चलते हैं हम लोग. Mind controls our life. Right? Why? Because mind is always in anxiety. That is the nature of material mind. Chinta. What will happen? What will happen? क्या होगा मेरा? क्या होगा? People, devotees also ask, what will happen? Krishna has explained very clearly what will happen. Yatosya dhruva mittur, dhruvang janma mitusya. Those who have taken birth, they will die. That will happen. What will happen to us? We will all die. It's just a matter of time. Before that, what will happen? Anxiety. Life is full of anxiety. When mind is free, mind will give us anxiety. Material mind means anxiety. Always in anxiety. Because we are not surrendered. When someone is completely surrendered, there is no question of any anxiety. Pariksit Maharaj was cursed to die in 7 days, but he did not have any anxiety. Why? Because he was completely surrendered. The control of life should be given to the Supreme Lord. So Pariksit Maharaj given the full control of his life to the Supreme Lord. That's why he was always in bliss, no anxiety. Whether he was protected by the Lord and whether he was not protected by the Lord, he was in complete bliss. And he said that this curse of the Brahmana boy is the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he also explained that, my dear Lord, you are very, very merciful. You have appeared before me in the form of that curse of the Brahmana boy. Dijo sapa rupam. He did not see the curse. He saw Krishna in that curse. That's why he is perfectly Krishna conscious person. In every step of life, a pure devotee only sees Krishna. And that is the perfection of our life. And Pariksit Maharaj was the perfect example of this kind of Krishna consciousness. That's why you should take shelter of Pariksit Maharaj, pray to him so that we can get that quality and make our life perfect. Time is up. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Grantharar Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Any time for question answer? If somebody has any question, 1, 2 questions. If anybody has any question.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much for your wonderful lecture. It was like watering our Bhakti Lata Beach. Thank you very much. My question is, like in a sadhaka stage, Kanaka, Kamini and Pratishtha, these are the main troubles. Sometimes if we try to come out of these things, sometimes we come up and sometimes they again pull us down. Sometimes again we try to overcome them and come up. So in this stage, how to put us in a safe zone, like always in a safe zone.
Safe zone is association of devotees. That is a safe zone. That's why Mahaprabhu told, what is the behavior of a Vaishnava? Asat Sangha Tyag, a Vaishnavachar, Stri Sangya ka sadhu, Krishna Bhakta. It's all dependent on our association. When we have high quality association, we will be protected. And if we have bad association, we will be exposed. So we have to decide what kind of association we want. And accordingly, we will get the result. If we want to protect our devotion, then we have to be in the association of good devotees. Then we will be protected. That is a secret. There is no other secret. Okay?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. It was said that even one chants the holy name of the Lord jokingly, they will get it from the most sinful reactions. So why Kamsa didn't?
Why Kamsa?
Why Kamsa is envious to the Lord? Why he did not?
Because he is a demon, that's why he is envious of Krishna.
But still he is chanting the names of the Krishna.
He is not chanting, he is remembering Krishna. Because of fear. Out of fear he is thinking of Krishna. So that's why he got the benefit also, he got liberated. Namavas means liberation. So he got Namavas, he got liberation. All the demons get liberated, those who think of Krishna. Okay?
How to surrender unto the Supreme Lord's lotus feet?
Slowly, slowly. You don't have to do fast. Okay. Slow and steady wins the race. You have to surrender slowly. The process is given by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. First step is Daina. We have to cultivate humility. What is the meaning of humility? To act on constitutional position. We have to know who we are. Jiver Swarupai Krishna Nityadas. We are the servants. We are not the master. That is the first step of surrender. Then Atmanivedan. Then we are the servant. Then everything belongs to Krishna. Then everything should be offered to Krishna. That is called Atmanivedan. Then everything is gone. Then anxiety. Who will maintain me? कुछ है नहीं मेरे पास. कौन maintain करेगा मेरे को? The third step is Krishna will maintain. Krishna is the maintainer. Who will protect me if I am in danger? Krishna will protect me. Fourth. And Bhakti Anukul Matra Karjarasika, whatever is favorable for my surrender should be accepted, and whatever is unfavorable for Krishna consciousness should be rejected. So these are the 6 symptoms of surrender. If we practice all this, then we can become surrendered to the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay? That needs a lot of discussion. I just told the points. Beginning is cultivate dasya bhav. That is the beginning of surrender. Okay?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much for nice class, Maharaj. Maharaj, when we are doing something, automatically we become anxious of like what will happen, what will be the outcome. So when we organize some program or anything, so whether people will come or not, like that kind of anxiety will come. So you sometimes I sit and think like whatever happens, let it happen, get relieved from the anxiety, but still again that anxious feeling will come. So how to get out of that mode of mindset?
You have to understand why it's coming, because we are attached. We are attached to the result. That's why anxiety, no? The students, before the result comes out, anxiety. Why? Because he is attached. If you are not attached, no problem. Some students are very detached, who never studied. He has full confidence that Krishna will not also be able to make me pass. So why to be in anxiety? Enjoy life. That kind of student is also there. So that's why those who are in mode of ignorance and those who are Paramahamsa, they are happy in this world. Problem is the sadhakas. Those who have heard that there is some spiritual happiness, but no experience. Information is there, but no experience. But as the experience of sense enjoyment, देख रहा है, लेकिन कर नहीं पा रहा है, क्योंकि अभी सुन लिया है, नहीं करना चाहिए. तो क्या हो रहा है? इधर का भी नहीं हो रहा है, उधर का भी नहीं हो रहा है, ना घर का ना घाट का. That is the problem of the sadhakas. So we are in anxiety. Why? Because we are in that mode of passion, and because of that we are attached. Some people are attached to the work, some people are attached to the result, some people are attached to the both. That's why anxiety. That's why Krishna told Arjuna, at least become detached from the result. Niskam karma yoga. You fight, but don't become attached to the result of that fight. That is in my hand. If that understanding is there, we will not be in anxiety. Why you are in anxiety? Because you don't have confidence that Krishna is the controller. That's why you are in anxiety. So when you have faith that Krishna is in control, then we will not have any anxiety. Okay?
Thank you, Maharaj.
It's a process, it takes time. Okay then? बोलिए.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Can you elaborate like a Dvaita and Advaita philosophy?
That's not the topic today.
But yesterday actually I met one person, so he asked me that question. So
Advaita, Dvaita, you don't know, it's very simple. Advaita means everybody is one. Aham Brahmasmin. Dvaita means different. The Lord is different, I am different. Living entity is different. That's called Dvaita. And Mahaprabhu's philosophy is Achinta Bhedaved. The living entity and the Lord are simultaneously same and different. Qualitatively same, quantitatively different. That's called Achinta Bhedaved philosophy. We follow Achinta Bhedaved philosophy. Four sampradayas have four different kinds of philosophy. And that school, Advaita school, they have Advaita philosophy.
Hare Krishna Maharaji. Maharaji, we do spiritual seva, devotional activities also. In that way, we will become anxious what happens next. How we should take this?
You have to check why you are in anxiety. If anxiety is because how to please Krishna more, then that is spiritual anxiety. But if your anxiety, what I will get, that is material anxiety. Anxiety will be there. Mahaprabhu was in anxiety also. What was the anxiety? Someone will get love of Godhead, someone will not get love of Godhead. That was anxiety. He wanted to make sure everybody gets love of Godhead. That's why our parampara is a parampara of anxiety. But that is spiritual anxiety. So when we take anxiety for Krishna, that is a perfection of anxiety. And that will take us to the spiritual world. But when we are in anxiety for our own things, that will keep us bound in this material world. Okay? एंजाइटी क्यों हो रहा है, उसको थोड़ा एनालिसिस करना पड़ेगा, क्यों हो रहा है एंजाइटी, किसके लिए। हरे कृष्ण।
हरीश, तो हम जब डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन जाते हैं तो उस टाइम पे भी हम कभी कभी भूल जाते हैं राधा माधव को, तो कभी कभी
भूल जाते हैं। तो बहुत अच्छा एडवांसमेंट हो गया बहुत। मेरे को तो कभी कभी याद आता है, आपको तो कभी कभी अब भूल जाते हैं, बहुत अच्छा है।
नहीं, पर कभी हम कीर्तन में होते हैं तो कीर्तन में भी भूल जाते हैं, तो वो चलेगा वो
तो चलता रहेगा, जिंदगी तो चलता रहेगा, भगवत प्राप्ति नहीं होगा, जिंदगी चलता रहेगा, खाना पीना चलता रहेगा, लेकिन भगवत प्राप्ति नहीं होगा।
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I was remembering the words of Srila Bhakti Thakur that if you want to perfect your life, it takes at least 3 lifetimes it needed to come back to Garden. Here we see Pariksit Maharaj in 1 life only, he perfected his life. How a sadhaka...
Pariksit Maharaj is not a sadhaka, Pariksit Maharaj is a siddha.
How to understand in sadhaka life, how many lifetime he needs to take to come back to Garden?
I have to tell the same answer. Everywhere I get, I have to face this question, कितना time लगेगा? कितना time लगेगा? So I have to tell the story again, huh? This is my destiny now. Everywhere I get this question, I have to tell the same story. So I was preaching tour for 1 month, my secretary was there with me, and everywhere I am telling the story, same story. He said, Maharaj, please, don't tell the same story. I mean, what can I do? They are asking the same question, so I have to tell the same story. So I thought I will not tell the story here, but you asked the question. तो स्टोरी बोल दो, 2 मिनट लगेगा, स्मॉल स्टोरी, कितना टाइम लगेगा? तो 1 जिंदगी लगेगा, 2 जिंदगी, 3, मालूम नहीं कितना लगेगा। There is a villager, a man used to stay in the village and he never went out of the village. But once he had to go out of the village for work. And he had to go by a train, and he did not know also where is the train station. He heard that the train station is out of the village. So he left home to catch the train on the way to the station. So on the way he saw a farmer farming. So he thought maybe he knows the station, he can also tell me how long it will take to reach the station. So he stopped there and asked the farmer the question, how long it will take to reach the station? Farmer did not reply, no response. Then that man thought maybe he was not loud enough, he was little louder, still no response. More louder, no response. Then he started thinking, my God, if I stay with him, I may miss the train. So he started running. When he started running, the farmer said, it will take 15 minutes. Then that man said, I was screaming, shouting, but you are not answering. But when I started running, you answered me. Why you did not reply at the beginning? He said, it's very simple. When you asked me the question, I did not know your speed. Now I know your speed. And if you run in this speed, then it will take 15 minutes. कितना टाइम लगेगा? Depending on our speed. ठीक है? 1 साल भी लग सकता है, 1 जिंदगी भी लग सकता है. कोटि जन्म हरि नामे नाई प्रेमोधन. We can keep on chanting for millions of lifetimes, still जपा चलता रहेगा. है कि नहीं? कब तक हम लोग इस स्थिति में रहेंगे, ये हमारे इच्छा के ऊपर निर्भर है. Who can get Krishna? Who desire to get Krishna. Our intensity of desire will determine our speed. Pariksit Maharaj's desire was very intense. That's why he was in a very high speed. 7 days, perfection. Okay? Khattanga Maharaj, 1 moment, perfection. तो अभी बहुत टाइम हो गया है, 9:15. थैंक यू वेरी मच. हरे कृष्णा. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. समवेत भक्तवृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।